Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Voices That Heal. This is your girl Jams, and this is a different, special kind of episode. As you know, it is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, so for survivors like myself, it's basically our Super Bowl. We are running around like crazy. We are advocating wherever we can. We have events coming up. We have speaking engagements. We're sharing content from folks that have talked to us throughout the year. We're trying to raise awareness any way that we possibly can. So I decided this year that, a lot of the work that we do as survivors, I sometimes feel like is in a silo, and I feel like we don't always get the opportunity to share what we have going on until it's already happened or until we're in the middle of it. And so I thought it would be a good idea to start to have survivors on to talk about the stuff that we're doing and the advocacy work that we have going on. That way, if there's opportunity for the audience to support us, to share, to just generally increase the footprint and the traffic of what we have going on, it's all the more beneficial for everybody. And so I thought that I would do this each Monday throughout the month of November, and maybe even carry it on if it gets good traction. But for starters, myself and one of my good friends in the cancer community, Natalie Brown, are going to share the advocacy work that we have going on, not just this week, but for the full month. And for those folks who are watching, we, of course, are live on YouTube via Voices That Heal or the Heal Collaborative. And we're also live on Facebook as well through the Heal Collaborative page. But this information will be shared on social media channels across the different platforms. So be on the lookout for it. And if you do see it, please hit the share button, hit the follow button, hit like, share, and subscribe. All that stuff makes a huge difference for us. But in the meantime, while you guys do that, I'm going to bring to the stage none other than my friend, Natalie Brown. Oh my goodness. Welcome. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Jamie. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. You look great, by the way. Like,
I like
absolutely
your
great.
I like your hoodie. What does that say? Oh,
Lung
lung
cancer.
cancer. Did you make that?
I did. I made this like a couple years ago, and I've just been like, you know what? Tonight's the night to wear it.
I think you need to start trying to sell those. I don't know. I like them.
I know. I used to have a little e-commerce site where I would sell all this lung cancer stuff, and it got to be so much work maintaining it and like just handling it that I wasn't even really like making a whole lot of money, to be honest with you.
All right.
So I was like, I might resurrect it. Who knows if there's enough traction? Because I had some really cool designs, but for the most part, I think I've got enough on my plate as it is.
I know you do.
But anyway, so thank you so much for being part of the inaugural episode here of Advocates in Action. Again, just an opportunity to spotlight you and everything that you have going on, whether it's for the full week or for the entire month. It's up to you to share. But before we do, why don't you give everybody your 30-second elevator pitch /story/journey as much as you can, and just let folks know sort of what you've been going through and, how you got to be a lung cancer survivor.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name is Natalie Brown, and unfortunately in 2020, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in my lymph nodes and both of my lungs. Pretty much thought that there was no hope for survival for me until my pulmonologist actually said, hey, I know a program where you could possibly go get a cure or no evidence of disease is more so of like what I like to call it. So I actually got a double lung transplant almost 1 year ago. Yay me! It's been a very rough journey, I will say, going through this double lung transplant. I am so glad that I got the transplant done. It pretty much has changed my life. Unfortunately, in a nutshell, the cancer did actually return. But like I said, I'm still doing great right now. I'm glad I got the surgery done. And I am currently working on advocacy for Lung Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm super excited.
Absolutely. And I just want to say too, how excited the entire lung cancer community was when you told us that you were getting this double lung transplant, because to be honest with you, when you are advanced stage lung cancer and just any kind of stage of lung cancer, sometimes these things we're told they're off the table. We're not candidates for it. It's not an option. So to hear that, somebody like yourself who's been battling this for so long, was actually a candidate and actually got to go through with it and have it taken care of, it was monumental for us. And like, it may not seem like it, but it's just such a big step forward for like the lung cancer community, because it gave a lot of people hope and a lot of folks just in understanding that like, hey, there are other alternatives now and things are coming down the pipeline that may not have been viable for us before that are now, things that we can look forward to. So, we're going to get into your advocacy in just a minute, but like, what have been some of the complications with the double lung transplant? Like, obviously you don't just get new lungs and start running miles. There's a recovery process that comes along with it. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I definitely wish I could run miles. So with a double lung transplant and just having cancer in general, you're more prone to, pleural effusions, blood clots, whatever it is that you want to call it. And so I actually have been getting blood clots. I currently have a clot right now in my lung. It's extremely small, but I am on blood thinners. So it is eventually going to dissolve like my other clots dissolve. So I've had clots. I've had a lot of pain, like an extreme amount of pain, because my lungs were very hard to take out. They had to yank my lungs out and
Oh,
another surgeon. So I dealt with pain probably a little longer than maybe most lung transplant patients. And then there's also like a tightness in my chest. So basically, it just feels like you have a band like around you pretty much at all times. And it's supposed to get better, but I mean, sometimes it's just really tight and it's just really uncomfortable. So that is like one of the like kind of like major things. But
yeah.
all in all, I mean, the recovery is it's rough. They cut you open clamshell style. So you're just, I mean, I look good now, I can't see it.
Yes, you do. You look great.
But trust me on that. They did a good job with the incision. But
Yeah.
it's a very rough surgery. I would encourage anyone who qualifies for it to still do it. It's just you're gonna have to go through a lot just to get to where I am now. So mine was November 15th will actually be my 1 year lung anniversary. And I have a shirt. So shout out
Ah,
to my friend Sierra. She made me a shirt that says "Happy Birthday to my lungs," and I'm gonna buy some cupcakes and I'm gonna stick a candle in it, and that's gonna be my celebration.
I love that. I'll have a virtual cupcake with you as well. I think
Please
the
do.
whole team will all have cupcakes together.
Yes.
Um, so I think in terms of, just surgery and the operations and stuff like that, I mean, there's obviously complications that you're dealing with. And then having cancer, we all have like things that we're on the lookout for. What are some of the things that like maybe the doctor said, if this gets worse, come see us? Like, how do you gauge what's like a normal side effect versus like, hey, this is something I need to pay a little bit more attention to?
Yeah, so they say watch out for coughing. Coughing
Mhm.
is one sign that things might be kind of going left.
Okay.
And it's really clear to me because I had a cough prior to this. And now that I don't have a cough at all, if I automatically start coughing or my cough gets out of control, I'm really going to know something is wrong. Another thing they say be on the lookout for is shortness of breath and, just the ability to not be able to breathe good. And thankfully, I haven't had any of those issues yet. They do really well checking for rejection. They can do a bronch. I can never pronounce the whole word. That's why I
Yeah.
say bronch. But they can either do a bronch or they can do a blood test to help to check for rejection.
Yeah.
Um,
Can
yeah.
we talk about the shortness of breath as a lung cancer community? Because I hate when that's a side effect or something they tell us to watch out for. Because I'm like, I mean, like they're like, well, do you get short of breath going up the stairs?
Yeah,
Yeah. Am I
yeah,
not supposed to?
it's
Like,
funny because I'm on chemo again, obviously, because the cancer returned. And
yeah.
one side effect of the chemo is it makes your chest hurt and you can possibly have shortness of breath. I don't have the
Right.
shortness of breath part, but the chemo does make my chest hurt a little bit. So
So
it's
that's what
kind
it
of
drives
annoying.
you crazy because you're like, okay, like, is this regular shortness of breath? There'll be times where like I'm carrying a laundry basket up the stairs and I have shortness of breath and I have to stop and panic for a minute, like, oh my God,
What's
am
going
I in
on?
trouble? Am I having progression? And then you're like, no, dummy, you just carried a laundry basket up 2 flights of
Yeah,
steps. Any normal person would be a little
yeah,
winded from that, you
yeah,
know?
it's exactly. Yeah, it's so weird, but it's funny because I mean, obviously, I'm still living in Chicago right now, so I do a lot of walking. So that
Yeah.
has helped me a lot because I feel like if I was at home right now, I would be lazier.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of the background on the double lung transplant and what you're going through. But let's talk about some of this advocacy work because I know you've got some really exciting things that I'm not going to blow the whistle on, but I'll let you tell it. But what are some of the things that you have going on this month for Lung Cancer Awareness Month? And what are some of the ways that we can support you?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot going on. Like I was telling you earlier, I just got another opportunity that's pretty huge. I'm not going to say what it is yet, just
Yep.
to make sure that it actually goes through, but we'll see. So I'm working on that, and that should actually hopefully drop before the end of the month. But aside from that, I am a speaker at a lung cancer town hall that they
Okay.
are having at Northwestern's Lurie Cancer Center. I'm going to be a speaker and I'm going to be sharing my story. And I love sharing my story to anybody that will listen. Even if you won't listen, I like to share my story because we all are going through this journey. But the fact that I've had a double lung transplant and then unfortunately my cancer has returned, I feel like, there's a spin on my story. So I definitely like to share my story, not only for hope, but for encouragement as well, and for a possible solution for the disease or anything like that. So I think that's great. Also, what I'm doing is typically, so I have about, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, I think I have like 17 doctor's appointments
Oh
the
Lord.
rest of the month. Like, that's not even a lot. It's so serious. They're all over the place. They're like transplant, they're infectious disease, like all kind of appointments. So what I'm actually doing, Heidi sent me a smaller white ribbon because I just had the big one. So I'm actually gonna go, and I mean, sometimes I take my ribbon, but since it is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, I'm gonna take it with me to all of these appointments, and I'm going to try to get pictures with these particular providers. Take a picture of it just to let them know, like, hey, I appreciate you. Let them know or remind them that it's Lung Cancer Awareness Month, because you'll be surprised that sometimes these providers don't know what's actually going on. I found that out. So I'm going to take my ribbon with me. Something else I just started doing, my pen. Oh, I'm touched the wrong thing. Goodness. So I've been wearing my white ribbon, my pen, and it actually has been getting me. Oh, see, there we go.
There you go. Yep.
I got it off Etsy. So a lot of people, they see it, and the first thing they say, oh, well, what is that? Is that, somebody asked me yesterday, was it mental health or something? They said, and I was like, no. I was like, it actually stands for the white ribbon is lung cancer, is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. So it actually prompts conversations.
Yep.
So I'm all about trying to start a conversation with someone, because I want them to ask me, well, they're going to ask me, did I smoke? That's like the first thing. Yeah, the concierge where I lived asked me that too, but whatever. So that's like the first thing that they asked me, but I'm trying to basically just start a conversation about that is what I really want to do. And then as far as social media, don't get me wrong, social media is great as far as posting like facts, saying how many people have lung cancer. But lung cancer is already really serious. So I feel like facts are very educational, but just by posting them, I feel like sometimes they're boring. So I want to try to actually like have videos, and in my video, like talk about obviously lung cancer and then state a fact, like as I'm talking, versus me just posting like, oh, X amount of people have lung cancer. Because I feel like you get a little bit more attention if somebody's actually talking. I think that was like a something I want to do. And then also I've been looking back at like previous podcasts or whatever that I've done, and I'm going to try to start posting the podcast just for like a refresher, not only for people, but for me too, because I mean, I've been advocating for 5 years. So some of I can't even remember, like, unfortunately, what I've done anymore. So that's what I want to do. I want to get that going. And then another thing on Instagram, I'm heavy on Instagram more so than anything else. So on Instagram, and I'm sure they have it on other platforms, you know how you can like prompt a poll or a question or something?
Yeah.
So I put a question up yesterday, and I was just like, does anybody have any words of encouragement or questions they want to ask me? So I think I got about like 3 or 4, which I guess wasn't too terrible. But it made me think, like somebody asked me, they said, since your journey started, how is your faith? Like,
I saw that.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start being like real raw, because I don't know if people, like, I feel like I'm a pretty transparent person, but I want people to like know, like, you don't have to know I threw up at 4:30 a.m. or nothing like that to that extent. But, I want people to know kind of like what's going on, especially like from a mental health standpoint. Like people go through so much, we just don't talk about it. So on social media, to conclude the social media part of this conversation, what I'm going to try to do is when I share a fact, instead of me just placing the fact there, I'm going to try to put the fact like behind a video. So like something of me, like a me video, or what's the guy's name? Scandal, who he lost his mom. No, was it his mom?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of the name. Tony Goodwin.
Pretty good one, yeah. So like that's a good video. I mean, obviously he's a celebrity, so he's gonna get some but just I feel like putting a video behind a fact just makes it a little bit more interesting than just saying, oh, 200 something thousand people got lung cancer, or whatever. So I just want to try to make things interesting, because this is already difficult for us. So let's try to put a little bit, I'm not saying like laugh about it, but let's try to put like some enthusiasm with it, just to be a little bit more, a little bit more proactive. So that's what I want to do. And I'm really hoping that my healthcare team will agree to take pictures with me with the ribbon, because I think that would be super great. I also, I can't forget about this. So I did a podcast, and the name of it is, I just drew a blank here. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at my phone now.
No worries.
What is the name of this podcast? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is so crazy.
You have a lot going on. We'll give you a pass.
Um, hold on, what is it? Oh, Before Our Visit Ends. I'm so sorry if she's watching. Before Our Visit Ends is the name of the podcast, and it basically talks about cancer survivors. It celebrates us, and I did a really good interview with her. It's supposed to come out on the 5th, and it really, I'll put the link out once she gives me the actual links. But I really like went in kind of deep on that, so I think that'll be very good to listen to. So that's kind of my goal for LCAM. And I mean, if I think of anything else, of course, I'll just do it. But
Yeah.
I think that kind of is a good start for me.
I think that's an amazing start for anybody, to be honest. And I'm really glad that we're doing this, because I'm realizing that as we're talking through the advocacy work that we're going to do, and I'll tell you guys what I have planned as well for the month. Like, as we're talking through this, I think it's helpful for other survivors and other folks who are watching to understand that advocacy doesn't have to be some grand, huge endeavor. Like, even just taking the pictures with your providers is, number one, it's raising awareness with them, because now they feel like they're a part of it. Now they feel engaged with what's going on. Number two, it kind of lets other folks know, like, hey, this is possible. You can, like, it's not something you have to be ashamed of. You know what I mean? So I think us being able to share the advocacy work we're doing just highlights different creative ways that people can raise awareness without having to do the standard, like you said, share a post, share my story. There's so many different things you can do to raise awareness, or just to be involved during LUNCAM or LCAM. And I think once we start getting over that idea that, like, you have to do some huge production to be an advocate, I think that's when the real work starts to happen for us. So I think overall, what you have going on is amazing. And if there's anything we can do to support, like I said, folks, at the beginning of the show, when you see these links drop from Natalie, share it, like it, like, give it to the folks around you. Just make sure that you're pushing out as much as possible, because that's how we increase awareness. I think a lot of times we share our content to each other, and it's kind of like preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get these things in front of other eyes and new folks, so that they understand, like, what's going on, and they have visibility into it. So I definitely think that's amazing. But why don't you before I go into what I'm doing, give your contact information or your social media where folks can follow you, so that when you do drop all this stuff, they kind of have it, they're locked in already, so they know.
I was about to say, I had to go back and look at my handle. I can't.
Hey, listen, you should always be prepared with your social media.
I know, I should. So like I said, I'm on Instagram the majority of the time. So my Instagram handle is my name, Natalie, Natalie _B10. And then actually on my LinkedIn, I have a link tree, and it should be updated for the most part. I think I just updated it yesterday, but it has a lot of my articles that I've done, podcasts, things like that are on there. So that'll be very helpful. Something else I just thought of, Jamie, too, something that I want to try. Like, one day during the month of November, I want to, like, share a story for, like, a lot of people that I know. Like, if it's on a Wednesday, like, share Jamie's story, share Sydney's story, share, whoever's story, and just like, hey, let it not all be about me. Let me share my friends' stories too. So I think that'll be something that'll be cool too.
And I think the Voices That Heal group is kind of like a perfect place for that. Like, I'm trying to encourage everybody, survivor wise, to, like, share their content in there, so that everybody has access to it and can share it out. So that's kind of like, if we could get everyone to share their story in, like, a quick 2-minute, 3-minute reel, I think we could really be, like, impactful. Like, I've seen stuff that Billy's doing where she's, like, getting content from all of us, like, input and stuff. And I think it's really awesome. So I think if we do a lot more collaborative work together, we can really kind of, move the needle on some of this stuff. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then, also, I'm on Facebook, just under is my name, Natalie Brown. I got a TikTok account, but I'm not really active. So I really wouldn't say TikTok, because I'm just not on there like that. But yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right, what do I have going on this month? And I'll share just what I'm doing this week, since I'll be hosting this every week throughout the month. Okay. But one of the biggest things, so last year, I remember I was walking around, and I happened to be in the commissary for the military bases out here in Virginia and Maryland. And I noticed they had a breast cancer display last year. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I happened to come back again in November looking and searching for the lung cancer awareness display, and there was nothing there. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, where's that? Like there was nothing there. And so I made a mental note to myself that, like, listen, next year we need to keep that same energy. They've got displays up for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's get like right behind them. Let's follow right behind and do, November Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And
okay.
so this year, government shutdown did, impede some things a little bit, but I was able to actually coordinate getting 2 displays set up for Joint Base Andrews out here in Maryland and Fort Belvoir in Alexandria, Virginia. And so tomorrow I actually get to go and set those displays up in the commissaries so that people can come up and engage with the table and stuff like that. I've got a bunch of material from some of the organizations and a lot of stuff that I just bought myself because I wanted to have a really nice, impactful display. But overall, like, I'm just really excited about that because this just starts the ball rolling for other military bases. So folks that are watching, if you are somebody who lives in a military base area and you have access to the military, because you have to have an ID and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of a pain to get on base if you don't have an ID. But if you are somebody who has that or knows someone who, would help you do it, let me know and we can start to put more displays in other bases and stuff like that. So that is one thing that's amazing. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the stuff I have put on the table is like veteran based because it's military. So obviously you need to get the people that are going to these bases and to these areas. So it's mostly veteran based information, but that's definitely a population that is heavily affected by lung cancer. And so I feel like a lot of times they don't get, the same kind of attention and sort of resources that they need. So that for me is exciting. But I'll take pictures of the tables and post them tomorrow once they're done. And I'm going to check in on it every week to make sure it's good to go. But I got a little tree and people can sign the white ribbons and hang it. So it's going to be real cute. So that's that. And then I've been more like intentional about going to things. So apparently DC and Maryland has a lot of stuff going on out here. So last weekend I went to the longevity event where we planted the 60,000 flags on the National Mall lawn, basically, which each flag represented 2 people who have passed away from lung cancer. So amazing to see. I mean, it was just a sea of white across the lawn and then like with all of the monuments and everything all surrounding it. So it was definitely just an impactful way to, represent lung cancer and kind of raise awareness. So I'm glad that I was like spontaneously able to go and do that. And then I know there's a press conference on Wednesday this week, I believe I'm going to try to swing out to. And then there's a walk on Saturday. So I'm notoriously bad. And I throw shade at myself all the time. I'm really, really bad at keeping track of these events. Like they'd be like, you going to the Elk Summit? Oh, when is that?
You don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like I'm so bad at keeping track of all the different like things. I just feel like I get stuck in my own lung cancer world and
it's just a lot though. It's a lot to keep up with. So
it is. And it's like, so anyway, I've been paying a lot more attention to what's happening in the community around me. And so I'm going to try to hit that walk this weekend as well.
Okay.
I also got the okay to do a presentation at my church on Sunday. So I am going to be spearheading the health and wellness like committee at my church, basically to sort of raise awareness and stuff like that. So that's definitely interesting. But I will, then I just have a ton of content to put out for Heal Collaborative / myself / everything in between. So yes, between all of that, I'm just really trying to be more impactful. I feel like last year I didn't do enough. So, and I constantly compare myself to other advocates like, dang, I probably should be.
The same thing. Oh my gosh.
Okay. You're like celebrity though. So like we're comparing ourselves to you. Like
celebrity money. When I get celebrity money, then you can call me a celebrity.
All right, fair enough. But you're like local celebrity to us. But no, it's like we always compare ourselves to other advocates and be like, man, like look what they're doing. And I'm not doing enough. But I get stuck in my head with that kind of stuff too. And you just have to realize that everybody's steps moves us all forward together collectively. So I've just been, like I said, trying to be more impactful. And like you said earlier, like we share the facts and all that kind of stuff. And I know people just scroll past them on social media, like no one pays attention to it. So I too try to do things differently. I try to have conversations that are not usual. So that people are like, oh, I never thought about it that way, or I never saw that side of it before. So I constantly try to do that stuff too, is like show the other side of it. Like we know about screening, we know about, all that kind of stuff, but like let's talk about who we are as people.
Right.
Like the
Yeah.
human beings that have this, not just like we're not just the disease. We're living and breathing human beings before this, and we're going to be living and breathing beings during it. So like
Right.
we don't need it to take over every part of our existence. So
I
yeah.
totally agree with you. And I think sometimes I feel bad because I want to try to do as much as I can while I feel good. Because
Yeah.
obviously going through this journey, cancer and a double lung transplant, there are going to be times and days where you just don't feel good.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, well, as long as I feel good, let me go, go, go. But then I still don't want to overwork my body. Speaking of events, so I am going to another event on Thursday. It's not directed towards lung cancer awareness, but it's cancer. So it's called Taste of Hope Chicago. And it's
Oh, I've
basically
seen
for
that before.
yeah, so like things like the top 35 restaurants, or I don't know if
Mhm.
it's Michelin or what something. They actually get together, and in a ballroom, you have to dress up and you get to go around and taste everything. It comes with drinks, desserts, and I think it's a good opportunity, not only because they raise money for cancer, but it's a good networking opportunity to meet people, because a lot of people are going to be there. So I am definitely excited about that, to meet people and to eat at the same time. So
You had me at eat. All right. Well, listen, I don't have anything else to update about my advocacy right this moment. I'm sure things will change. I know things are going to change for you as well, and we're waiting to hear that new announcement you've got. But I just want to say thank you for being on the show tonight and for sharing
yeah,
everything that you're doing. We're going to repurpose this video and share it out to the social media so that we can kind of get more eyes and things on it.
okay.
But yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. Everybody in the lung cancer community looks up to you,
Oh
and we
God.
all are just, I know, I'm sorry, I'm laying it on thick, right? But no, we do. Like you are you're one of those figureheads in the community for us. So I appreciate, everything you do advocacy wise, because you bring so much visibility to what we have going on and so much hope to these new folks who are getting diagnosed, who are like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And
Right.
just seeing all of us in our various stages of lung cancer gives everybody hope that like there is life beyond this diagnosis. So thank you for everything
Yeah.
you do.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on. This was exciting. I love talking about it. So it'll be very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, listen, I will be back again and again and again all month long. You're gonna get sick of seeing my face, so get ready for it. But I'll be back again, of course, next Monday with more advocates to share the advocates in action and what they're doing. So make sure you keep it locked here, and then follow the Heal Collaborative on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, so that you can stay on top of everything that we have going on. Summit registration for Summit 2026 is coming soon. We are going to be in New Orleans. It is going to be
Woo-hoo.
a time.
I
I
will be
cannot
there.
wait. So, yes, make sure you keep it locked to all those different channels so that you don't miss the announcement when it does go live. But in the meantime, everybody have a safe and happy rest of your week. And I will see you guys next time right here on Voices That Heal.
Good night. Thank you. Bye, James.
Bye.
Bye.